Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am your host, Joshua Okpara. I want to welcome you once again to the Purpose Podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about how to pivot in tough times. It seems like a very interesting conversation to have. How to pivot in tough times. Listen, I'm not sure where you may be in your life right now. I'm not sure what situation you may be dealing with in your life right now. I'm not sure what circumstance you may be dealing with, but perhaps you clicked on this podcast because you want to learn how to pivot in tough times. And so there was a man whose life I admire. There was a man who, to me, may have been one of the greatest writers of all time, and he received wisdom from God. And he's written principles that literally decades, thousands of years later, people still utilize these principles. They use it in business. They use it on their marriage. They use it in everything that they do. And within this principles that he wrote, it was penned in the Bible. One of the things that he said, and this book that I'm talking about is the book of Ecclesiastes, and the person I'm talking about is Solomon. In the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, from verse 1, Solomon said, "For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven." For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. He goes on further and says, there was a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. Why are all these things important? We are dealing with a man who had spent years doing research. We're dealing with a man who he money was not an issue for him, so he made it his life's purpose to figure out life. He says, I want to learn about this thing called life. I want to learn how to navigate life. I want to learn how to deal with life. I want to learn how to move through life. I want to learn the meaning of everything. And so I wanted to preface by saying that because we're not dealing with a novice here. We're dealing with an individual who had studied everything there is to know about life, an individual who got wisdom straight from God, and he came up with this thesis, with this conclusion that to everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. What season are you in right now? The interesting thing about to everything there was a season is in every other area of our lives, we recognize season. If you were in the United States, you know that there was a time for summer, there was a time for fall, there was a time for winter, there's a time for spring. We recognize that. In the fall, we see the leaves go from green to brown. They begin to look dead. And I like fall. It's beautiful for good pictures with sweaters. And we see what that looks like in the fall. And in the spring, we begin to see everything growing and blooming. Even in our house outside, we have a guy who mows our lawn and takes care of the lawn. And he's a great guy. I was so dumbfounded as to how during the winter times and the fall times, the grass never grew. He didn't even reach out to us. For some weird reason, our grass did not grow. Everything looked so, I don't even know what color to give it anyway. It just looked brown. It just looks dry and very, very dry, I would say. And literally, the moment we hit springs, he calls my phone and said, "Hey, man, I'm mowing grasses again. You ready?" I'm like, "Yeah." I go outside the house and I looked. I'm like, my goodness, somehow these grass, even earth, recognizes season. That somehow my grass is intelligent enough to know when it's time to spring up. Everything works around season. If you go, remember going to Home Depot the other day, and when I was at Home Depot, I went to the veggie aisle or the plant aisle, if you may, and one of the people who worked there, they said to me, "You want to buy some seeds? You want to buy this? Make sure you buy this particular seed for this season. Make sure you buy this particular tree for this season. This tree functions best in the winter, and this tree functions best in the summer. Even Earth recognizes season." And so the principle that Solomon has set before us, it is a timeless, ageless principle that works with everything that we do. Businesses recognize season. If you walk into any retail store during February, you're going to see a bunch of red all around. You're going to see all kinds of things, not because it's Christmas, but because Valentine's Day is coming up. It's the same chocolate, but the companies who are operating these businesses and operating these candies, they reshape, they rebrand the same chocolate. Same thing. You can have that same chocolate all year long. But they rebrand it because they understand it's Valentine's Day and people are going to be looking for cake. Even Chick-fil-A would have their chicken tenders or chicken nuggets. They will put it in a heart-shaped box. Why? And people will buy it. The same nugget. Same exact nugget, not a different taste, doesn't taste more lovely than the other ones. But why do they do that? Because even companies understand that within the time and seasons of earth, within the times and seasons even of America's holidays and different time, have chosen to recognize different things, that seasons and times matter. And so I want to give you five keys on how to pivot during tough times, during tough seasons. First, I want to let you know the reality of it, which is tough seasons will come. I wish I can tell you they may. I wish I can tell you that it's a probability, but I want to be frank with you to recognize that tough seasons will come. If you have great seasons, then there was a reality we must face that there was a tough season that will come. I'm not saying it's going to come after, but tough seasons are natural. Tough seasons are inevitable. And so I want to give you five keys on how you can pivot. I call this the 5 R's of pivoting. The 5 R's of pivoting. Are you ready for it? Number one, recognize the season you are in. You see, one of the things I want to talk to you about is the power of awareness. You cannot pivot if you don't first discern where you are. You have to recognize, am I in a season of planting? Or am I in the season of uprooting, of unplucking? What season are you in? Even in your business, even in your life, even in your relationships. What season are you in your educational value? What season are you in the things that you do, in your way you relate with people? What season are you in? Can you recognize the season that you're in? You see, misreading the season leads to frustration. Understanding the season brings clarity. Misreading the season leads to frustration. If I try to plant something that was only meant to be planted in February and I planted it now, I'll be frustrated if I don't see the results I want to see. But my frustrations will be almost null because I'm frustrated over something that in reality was my fault. Are you frustrated over something that you did not clearly discern? Misreading the season leads to frustration. Understanding it brings clarity. Number two, release what no longer serves the season. Solomon says there is a time to pluck up that which is planted. You see, it is so dangerous to hold on to expired things. It's dangerous to hold on to things that no longer have value, that no longer serve its purpose. Expired methodologies, expired mindsets, expired relationships, expired jobs, expired careers. You see, a 95-year-old man cannot go and play football. Regardless of how talented he is, he had passed the season of being recruited into the NFL. What season are you in? You have to learn to release what no longer serves the season. You see, a tree sheds not because it's bad, but it sheds leaves because those leaves no longer serves this season. And this is my question for you. What are you afraid to release that is keeping you stuck? What are you afraid to release that's keeping you stuck? What are you afraid to release that's keeping you stuck? Number three, refocus on what matters most. Refocus. Sometimes we look like this. Uh, uh, we look like our minds are everywhere, and it's so hard to be able to refocus. Solomon said there was a time to build up. You see, in hard times, it's so easy to become scattered and reactive. We need to learn about the power of refocusing. In other words, where is God leading you now? Where is God leading you now? I know where He may have led you then, but where is God leading you now? What is the season of your company right now? What's the season of your career right now? Where are you now? Refocus. I want to give you a key practical way to refocus. Number one, I want you to write down three things to build in this season. Write down three things to build in this season. It could be faith, it could be family, it could be your skill set, it could be relationships. I want you to write down, you can pause this podcast if you want to. I want you to write down three things to build during this season. You see, your future is built on what you choose to focus on today. Number four, reframe the pain. The reality of it is tough seasons come with pain. No matter how skilled you are, no matter how emotionally intelligent you may be, tough seasons always come with pain. They come with suffering. They come with moments where you've been wondering, what do I need to do? How do I need to do it? How do I navigate this life? How do I navigate this situation? Tough seasons come with pain. And hold up, I don't want you to feel discouraged, but they do. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes you're unprepared for it. Sometimes you don't know how to gather your thoughts. You don't know how to navigate life. Sometimes it could just seem like a lot going on. Tough seasons, they come with pain, with pain, with pain. Solomon said there was a time to weep and a time to laugh. There was a time to weep and a time to laugh. You see, but painful seasons, they have a purpose. Don't skip the pain, but don't get stuck in the pain. You see, many times we don't understand that pain is a part of a plan within your purpose. I want to say that again. Pain is a part of a plan within your purpose. For any woman who may be listening that has ever birthed a child, you understand how painful it could be to push out that baby. I remember my wife was dealing with pregnancy and our son was being born. I understand the kind of pain she dealt with, the contractions that she dealt with, but that pain was a part of the plan for the purpose. I want you to learn to see your pain not as a punishment, but as preparation. If there was a new mindset I want you to talk to yourself about, it is my pain is not a punishment, it is preparation. And the last thing I want to tell you, rejoice in the process. Solomon said there was a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. You see, even in tough times, there are moments when we must learn to celebrate. Celebrate the small wins. Embrace the lessons. Rejoice not in the circumstance, but in the God of the circumstance. I want you to learn to dance in the rain before the storms clear. When was the last time you actually celebrated? When was the last time you took yourself out? Yes, I understand you have tough seasons, but even within the tough seasons, there are moments of rejoicing. And so I want to give you a quick assignment. I want you to write down three things to celebrate on today or in the season that you're in. What are three things that you should celebrate about in this current season that you're in? Three things to celebrate about in your current season. I want you to write that down. Write down three things to celebrate about in your current season. I want to give you again the 5 R's of pivoting. You ready for it? Number one, recognize. Number two, release. Number three, refocus. Number four, reframe. Number five, rejoice. Recognize the season you are in. Release what no longer serves that season. Refocus on what matters most. Reframe your pain. And number five, rejoice in the process. Recognize, release, refocus, reframe, rejoice. I want to tell you that tough times are not a permanent place. They're simply passages. And with every passage, it's leading you to your promise. Pain is part of the plan that leads to the promise. And I know you may be dealing with pain right now. And I want to pray for you if I can. I know it's a podcast, but it's okay. Lord, I'm praying for the person listening right now who may be dealing with pain in any kind of way in their life. Father, I thank you that to everything there was a time and a season for every matter under heaven. For the person listening right now, I'm praying that you will comfort their hearts. Teach them to be able to recognize, to release, to refocus, to reframe, and to rejoice. In Jesus' name, amen. I hope this podcast blessed you. I try to keep everything under 16 minutes. And so if this was a blessing to you, I want to give you an opportunity to be able to share this with 4 to 5 people. Share this with anybody. Share it with them. So that way they can learn how to pivot in tough times. And listen, if you would like to be able to support what we are doing, you absolutely can. There are many ways you can give to support. You can literally head onto my website, joshuaokpara.com. I have a Cash App, which is simply the $, my last name and my first name. That is $OKPARAJOSHUA. I also have a Venmo account, which is at JOSHUA OKPARA. Your giving allows us to keep producing this podcast. I pay for many subscriptions that would allow me the liberty to be able to speak to you live with video. And if you would like to give to do that, I think that would be awesome. So check out those pages and have a wonderful, wonderful day. See you next time on the Purpose Podcast. Bye-bye.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, love, the greatest gift of all. My dearest friend who is with me through it all. Love, how can it be? You mean so much to me. Love, this feels so real. This is how it's supposed to be. Love, you came, you changed my perspective. Love, you came, you changed my very being. I can't explain what you mean to me. I'm so glad you came. This was always meant to be.
Baby, I ain't never known that you would be my best friend. Baby girl, this feeling's real. I simply can't pretend. Oh, the nights we prayed, the nights we talked, we knew we'd end up here. Now I got you by my side, and I love you till the end. I never knew a love like this, like this, like this. Baby, and it feels so real, so real, so real to me.
Love, the greatest gift of all. Love, my dearest friend who is with me through it all. Love, how can it be? You mean so much to me. Love, this surrender.